This is a mid-2012 15-inch Retina MacBook Pro. Now, I actually got this machine off eBay for $465, and it actually was not exactly fully working when I got it. Now, I will explain the issues later, but for right now, I'm going to tell you a little bit of a background on how I got this machine. So basically, one of my friends, his name is Chris, and you might know him on YouTube as Zodium. But he came to me and he asked me if I could try to help him find a good deal on a mid-2012 non-Retina MacBook Pro. Now, I suggested to him, why not just get a Retina MacBook Pro, because I could probably get one of those for pretty cheap, as you see I've just done. But he does not want a mid-2012 Retina MacBook Pro for whatever reason. I'm not exactly sure why, but nonetheless, he didn't want one. So I was just thinking, and I asked him if I were to get a Retina MacBook Pro, if he could pay for it, and I just send him my mid-2012 non-Retina MacBook Pro, which I had previously. And that is exactly what happened. So I found this machine on eBay. It was a bid, and it went for $465, and that's what you see right here. So some of the issues it had when I got it, it actually had two issues, one major issue and two minor issues. So the main issue with this machine was the display had the defective, I believe it was like the LG panel that some of these machines came with, that had a really bad image retention or ghosting on the LCD display. Now, it also had the common quote-unquote stain gate problem, which is where the anti-reflective coating on the display starts coming off. And it also had, at least what I originally thought was a bad fan. The bad fan ended up just being a piece of dirt that was stuck inside the fan, which after cleaning out, that completely fixed the noisy fan problem that this had. Now, the display, I actually took the machine into the Apple Store because the stain gate issue is covered under a recall program. So I took it into Apple, and sure enough, they honored that program and replaced the display free of charge. So that not only rid me of the stain gate issue, it also got me a fully working non-ghosting display. So let me just go ahead and give you a little overview of the system. Now, as you can see on the top here, since the display is brand new, the display is in perfect condition. So let's just go ahead and start off with the side here. So right here you can see we have one of the vents, and yeah, the bottom pan is in pretty bad shape. I'm going to try to probably just get a new one for it at some point. But yeah, other than the bottom pan, the machine is in actually pretty good condition. So right here we've got one of the intake vents here. Right here we have a 3.5mm headphone jack, one of the two USB 3.0 ports, two Thunderbolt ports, and one MagSafe 2 power connection. So over on the other side of the machine, we've got the second air intake vent right there. We've got an SD card reader, we've got an HDMI port, and the second USB 3.0 port there. So I'll just go ahead and show you the bottom of the machine here. You can see it is pretty scratched up. There's the MacBook Pro logo there. So yeah, let me go ahead and open up this machine. So as you can see on the inside of the machine, it looks pretty much perfect. You can see that, I guess, there are some very minor imperfections. Most of it's just dirt, actually. The only major imperfections are just right here on the palm rest. You can see these little marks right here. These are just some nicks in the aluminum that I couldn't get out. But other than that, the body is in really nice shape, and well worth it for the $465 that we paid for this machine. So I'm going to go ahead and boot it up and show you the specs and how it runs. So I'll be right back. Alright, so let me just go ahead and power on the machine. Alright, so one thing you may have noticed there is that when I initially powered on the system, the EFI boot screen was actually black. Now, that happens on the Retina MacBook Pros when you install anything newer than 10.10 Yosemite, or basically 10.10 Yosemite and newer. I believe it's a parameter set in the VRAM, however I'm not 100% sure on that, but I've done quite a bit of research and just cannot figure out how to change it back to a white boot screen. Now, Mavericks, which I'm running on here now, doesn't support the black boot screen, so it just turns white when it starts booting, as you saw. But if anyone knows how to change the EFI boot screen back to white, I really appreciate knowing that, because I would like to turn that back, because I'm not running anything newer than 10.9 on this machine. So, let me just go ahead and show you the specs. Let's go ahead into About This Mac. Now, one thing I didn't mention earlier was that this machine is actually the base end Mid-2012 Retina. Now, the machine I had previously was the higher end 2.6 gigahertz non-Retina MacBook Pro. However, I think the trade-off of this for the Retina screen is well worth it. So, here are the specs. So you can see that it has a 2.3 gigahertz i7. It has 8 gigabytes of DDR3 memory. Now, this is soldered on memory, so of course I can't upgrade it. However, at some point, I hope to get a higher end model of this machine that does actually have 16 gigs of RAM installed. Right now you can see that it is running on Intel HD Graphics 4000. However, it does have nVidia GeForce GT 650M graphics as well, also with a gig of video memory. So for storage, we've got a 250 gig SSD, and for memory, of course, we have 8 gigs of non-user installable memory. So those are the specs of the machine. So let me just go ahead and give you a little look at how high resolution the Retina display actually is. So if we go ahead and zoom in here, you can see that the pixel density is very high, and the resolution of the screen looks extremely nice. So yeah, that is the machine. So yeah, overall, I'm pretty satisfied with it, and I think it was a pretty decent upgrade from my mid-2012 non-Retina MacBook Pro. So that has been an overview of this mid-2012 15-inch Retina MacBook Pro. Hope you enjoyed this video.